Joining me in studio right now, Kevin Richards from Ventura Web Design with our Tech News of the Week. Kevin, thank you for being here.
Hey, good morning, Alan. Great to be here with you, as always.
Great to have you here. So let's find out. I got a lot of things on my plate this morning. Let's get right to it. Apple, I understand, has launched their new music service. Had a little problem there with the Taylor Swift, I think, didn't they?
They did. Taylor Swift was a little upset with their 3-month free trial in which the big bad Amazon was not going to pay the artists when the songs played. So she went out, she took to Twitter, and she got some attention there. And, of course, Apple said, oh, we're very sorry, Miss Swift. We will absolutely pay those artists during that 3-month free trial.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, and then what's actually funny, I don't know if you know this one, somebody else immediately went back and attacked Taylor Swift and said, hey, I'm a photographer, and I don't know if you've read the terms and conditions of being a photographer at one of your events, but every single one of my photos you own and get to use for free in perpetuity. So they were a little upset about that on the photography side.
Oh, so they were upset with her on that.
Exactly. And, you know, I think, honestly, she has no idea what's in those contracts. It's not her thing to worry about.
No, she just has to stand there and look good.
And sing well, don't forget.
She sings well, too.
I think, doesn't she write all of her own songs?
I don't know. She stands there and looks good.
All right, there you go.
Let's be honest about it.
She was here in Vegas at Rock and Rio, right?
She was. As a matter of fact, they're right down the street. Apple, I know, usually comes out with a new phone every fall. What's on tap for this fall?
Oh, they've got some good stuff coming out. They... whenever they come out with the next version, it's not necessarily a mid-step. It's usually an improvement in the quality of the hardware, although it still looks the same. So the next generation should be called the iPhone 6S, and the guess is that it's going to have a significantly faster capability to download. But the problem there is that if your wireless carrier, AT&T, Verizon, whatever, if they don't support that, you're not going to be seeing those faster speeds.
So what does it matter if they have this hardware anyway?
Well, eventually the carriers should catch up. But I mean, I don't know if you're carrying your phone around. You ever notice you only have like two little bars? You know, most of the time it's just you don't have all the capability that you want to have. That's why it's important to connect to Wi-Fi whenever you can. The other things that are coming out, you know, again, these are all guesses. Apple doesn't release anything until...
You're right. It's got 2 bars in this, is it?
Right. You only have 2 bars. And you know, you should have more. There's no reason for you to not have 4 bars. You know, we're here in the middle of the city. There's no reason for that. So the other guesses is that the biggest camera improvement ever will be included in the iPhone 6S. And then also they're probably going to include something called Force Touch. And this is something that was created as part of the Apple Watch, and it now feels how you're touching the device rather than just a simple tap. There's different types of taps. You can hold it down more, and it'll actually say, "Oh, okay, that's a different type of interaction."
Like, give me an example. I'm intrigued.
Well, okay, so normally on your phone, all your options right now is just to swipe or tap.
Yeah.
Now you're going to have swipe, tap, or push and hold. You know, it's a different function. It's going to work differently.
But I have that now when I go to my the phone capability of my iPhone here. If I touch something like your phone number and I want to put it down somewhere, it'll say, "Oh, copy, paste, cut," or something. You know, it does all that whole thing.
Yeah, it's slightly different than that. It's hard to explain. You just have to go to an Apple store and try it out.
They just want you in the store. They want you to try it all out. They want to suck you in or get addicted to that stuff.
Well, it's true, and you know they are coming out with something pretty cool. They have Apple workshops for children during the summer. Have you heard about this?
I have not heard about this, but I'm amazed to even hear you say that because kids on computers are so good. Our granddaughters fly through it, and I look at them and I feel so ancient. You know, when it comes, my little granddaughter who's not even 5, you ought to see her fly through it. All right, I want you to tell me about this in a minute because I want hopefully my daughter's listening and they can send my granddaughters to this camp this summer. We'll see how that goes. All right, Kevin, I know you had something else. You wanted to mention something else about, we crossed over the music service with Apple, but there's something else you wanted to mention.
Yes, we jumped over Apple Music a little bit too fast. Apple Music, this is a pretty big deal. And first thing I want to point out is to allow Apple Music onto your iPhone, you are going to have to actually upgrade your OS software. You've got to go to 8.4. So remember when you're ready to do that, you got to back up your phone first to your computer, or if you're not already doing it, to the cloud. So make sure you've got the backup and then go ahead and download 8.4, and then you can enjoy 3 months free of Apple Music. And what's interesting about this also is Apple is going to be releasing Apple Music on Android devices, which is their competing, that's the other type of phone that's out there. So once the 3-month free trial is over, it will be $9.99 a month. And here's something else that's very unique. Apple is giving a family membership for up to 6 people for $14.99 a month. So it's pretty cool. And of course, they are using Siri quite a bit on this. You can tell Siri, hey, play me a particular song, and she will. You can also ask her to play a song, play the top songs from 1998, and Siri will figure that out and play that for you. So it's pretty cool.
Now, right now, my phone, if I want to go to music down here, it says this thing right here, it's for iTunes.
Right.
Would that replace that automatically as being my main music source then?
Well, it should. Yeah, I believe so. I have not done the upgrade yet because I follow my own advice. I didn't have a chance to back it up last night, so I've not done it. I plan to do it today. I've got it. The upgrade is downloaded. I just haven't allowed it to do it yet.
Okay. Well, you let me know how it is, and if you make it through, then I'll go ahead and do it.
I survive.
I like you to do that stuff first. All right, I want to get back to this thing about kids, though, improving their computer skills. And you said there's some kind of a Apple summer camp. Tell me about this.
Yes, they have 2 different summer camps, and the space is very limited. You're going to want to get onto Apple's website and sign up. Now, of course, if you're going to have it's for children 8 to 12, and if you're going to sign them up, it's 3 days. And you have to be there. You can't just drop them off. It's not like, day camp. It's actually, you're taking them to the Apple store and they're going to sit down and teach your kids some pretty cool stuff, but you have to be in the store. So the 2 tracks they have, one is Stories in Motion with iMovie, and the other is Interactive Storytelling with iBooks. So your options are you can learn how to make a book, and the kids are going to draw illustrations on the iPad, and they'll add sound effects and things like that. Or they will learn how to put together movies with the iMovie software. Both of those are Apple products, and they're going to show your kids how to do it. I've already signed my daughter up. She's in that 8 to 12 group, so she and I will be there on one of the days.
Apple doesn't fall far from the tree, I'm telling you.
That's right.
I would expect you to. Wow. And they have adult training, I understand, as well?
They do have adult training, quite a bit of it. And, that's one of the unique things about Apple. I know you're a big fan of Apple. I am as well. And you can go in there, you can sign yourself up to learn more about the iPhone, the iPad, the watch, how to use a Mac better. If you need to give a presentation, they have a product called Keynote. They'll show you how to use that. Apple is always generally it's thought of as a consumer product, but it's actually very business friendly as well. So they have some tracks to show you how to use Apple products in your business.
Incredible stuff. Now, here's the thing. You and I talked about this briefly, and I want you to expound on this. Some people have trouble with the battery on their iPhone or their Mac. And what do you do for something like that?
Well, if you are a member of AppleCare and you're noticing that you have a device that's not holding a charge really well, you can go in there, and they actually just changed this policy. I don't know if you caught this. This was just released. Previously, the rule was if your the capacity was down to below 50% of what it's supposed to be, then they would replace it for you. Now they've changed that. It's now 80%. So they realized, hey, we're not going to make you, hobble around with a bad device. If it's dropped down to below 80%, we're going to replace it. So that's great. So that's on the AppleCare, though. So when you buy your device, you have to purchase that support policy.
Absolutely. If you've never had an Apple or a Mac product, and you get an Apple or Mac product, you absolutely get AppleCare. Trust me on this one, because everyone else, I don't care what it is, forget all the other computers, almost anything else in life you get. And you go to call someone up, and you get somebody somewhere on the other side of the world, they barely speak English and stuff like that, and then you get cut off, and you have to go through stuff. You will never get things fixed up. Apple, the first thing they say to you in AppleCare, first thing, they say, get your name, and what's your phone number in case we get disconnected. I'll call you right back. And I do. And when the first time they did that, I went, are you serious?
They actually want to help you.
They want to. And every single time I've ever called an AppleCare, every time they get the problem taken care of me, whatever the problem is, and in a very swift amount of time. So they are absolutely great. And again, I don't get paid for saying this. I'm not a spokesman for Apple or Mac, but they are absolutely great.
We need to get Apple advertising in here on KDON.
We do. I know. Craig, would you please get on that immediately?
That's right.
Thank you very much. No, because it is a great product. So just telling you how it is. All right. By the way, there was something else I got in my email, and it said that Apple, there was some problem with the hard drive. And if you're having a hard drive on an iMac 27-inch screen, which is I've got, between a certain date and a certain date, you can bring it back and get it replaced for free, because it crashes on you. Well, guess what happened to me about 6 or 8 months ago? it crashed on me, and so I did get that replacement. They put a new hard drive in after everything was backed up, and that's how I found out about the little cloud thing that I've got on my desk now, whatever it's called.
I believe you're talking about the iMac 27-inch. That's
it, yeah.
Yep. And these systems were sold between December 2012 and September 2013.
That's me.
So it's a very small number of those hard drives that were affected.
Mine was, and they replaced it, took care of it. But you got to back everything up.
You do, and we've talked about that as well. You got to get the time capsule because it automatically backs up, makes your life easy.
Now, tell me real quickly about Google. I know they're highlighting price comparisons now. I want to know about that.
Yes. So the problem over at Google, as they see it, is that so many people are starting their search for products that they want to buy. They're bypassing Google directly and going to Amazon. And Amazon, for the longest time, has been doing what we call the race to the bottom in retail. It's all about the lowest price. And so now Google has figured that out, that's the secret sauce of Amazon. And they are getting into the mix. And what they're doing is they categorize all the products that retailers list out there, and they determine what an average price of that product is. And when they find a product on, through their searching that is significantly lower than the rest, Google is now testing out a way of kind of highlighting that product. So you might see a little icon that says, hey, this product is 11% lower than the average online price. And it really calls it out. It helps that retailer who's trying to move that product by making it stand out in the search results. It's very hard for consumers to decide where they want to purchase. If you got a search result that shows 9 of the exact same product, same picture, same price, same description, how do you choose where to buy? Well, now Google's trying to make that easier for their customers.
With Amazon, what I do is you just have to go through the list and find the one that's the cheapest, and then also see about the shipping, and if it's exact, and then you have to just compare by looking at it on the page.
Well, that's true. And another way is to look at the reviews that the product has,
right,
or look at the reviews that the merchant has. And that actually leads me into something else I wanted to talk about. All of your listeners who are downloading that awesome KDWN app from the App Store, they need to go back in and start putting in some reviews. And the reason why that's so important is because it helps other people say, oh, look, that's a great app. That's a great station. That's something I want to listen to. It grows the listener base just by having reviews.
And you put the reviews in how?
You go into the Apple Store and you click on the app and you click on reviews and you start writing. And it shows your Apple ID and, you're a real person on there. You can choose what your Apple ID is going to say, what you're going to put out there. But, the power of the internet is you don't have to just make guesses anymore. You can actually research things. And that's why it's so important to read those reviews and to actually leave reviews. So many people don't want to leave a review when they've had a good experience. They say, it was good. I'm just going to move on with my life. No, it's helpful to others. When you've had a good experience with a merchant, a retailer, a service provider, go back in, write the review so that others know that that's a good place to do business.
So good or bad, put the reviews down. Let people know what your experience has been. Kevin Richards, the owner and guy who started Ventura Web Design, and you can find out more about Ventura Web Design and Kevin Richards by going to alanstock.com. On the right-hand side of the page, you'll see a Ventura Web Design logo. Click onto that, and you'll be in touch with Kevin Richards and all the good folks at Ventura Web Design. They do a great job. By way of disclosure, that page, alanstock.com, was designed by Kevin Richards and the good folks at Ventura Web Design. Thank you for coming in.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Have a great, safe 4th.
You as well. Well.